So today's poem is from the book, again, Northern Lights. I'm reading quite a few from here. I'll have to stop. You'll have heard them all. Nobody will buy it anymore. Anybody who's seen me reading stuff at a gig or a live reading will have heard this one before. This one was requested by the publisher of this book, actually. The publishers are Stairwell Books, and the proprietor of Stairwell Books is Rose Drew, who has asked for this today. This was written in the Segedunum Museum in Wallsend, and it was there that I learned the story that I'd never heard before. And anybody who's seen me live will have heard this story. But in World War I, April 1915, a German Zeppelin ghosted in over the River Tyne and came in over the lighthouse, St Mary's Lighthouse, which I read about recently. And it was after the shipyards in Wallsend. But firstly, it went around all sorts of different little villages, farms and villages in Northumberland, bombing them. And they were really small, little incendiary devices. You can't get me the size of my hands there. They're only wee. But there was no bomb bays in a Zeppelin. And so there was people hoying them out of the window. And it caused no damage, basically. These things exploded in fields. And there was no damage until it got to Wallsend, which is what it was really after. And it was a Sunday evening, and it hit a house where there was a woman resident, and she was bathing her children in the tin bath in front of the fire on the Sunday evening, and she heard the thud and then saw hot oil dripping through the rafters of the house, and it began igniting. And she got the children outside. A rock hard woman this was. She was called Sarah Robinson. She got the children outside onto the street, went back in and beat the flames out herself. So while all this is going on, the local guys, the local defence volunteers, had been given makeshift rifles. So they went and got the weapons and started shooting at the clouds where the Zeppelin was overhead. It was far too high for them to hit it. It was very, basic guns. But the act of them shooting at it worked, because it immediately went over the Tyne, over to the North Sea, and it didn't come back again. And so I thought, I was interested by this idea, and I read the whole story. The whole story is in the Segedunum Museum in Wallsend. So I thought I would write a poem there and then, which I did, and it came out fully formed. So this is for Rose Drew, and this is the Zeppelin's biggest mistake. Howie over the Tyne with your bombs, bonny lad. Bring that fat old balloon overhead. This is the town that Hadrian built. We'll pull down his wall and we'll take you down and all. Only I wouldn't linger long if I were you, 'cause me and me mates are primed with our rifles. See, you went too far last night when you slipped your filthy bombs on Mrs. Robinson's house. Her little lassie in the bath, oil bubbling through rafters. The fire's out now, you might not like to hear. Burns safely out on cobbles. She strode back into flame and flannelled away the last traces of you. See, this is what happens when the devil hangs around in Cloud, our God's country. Angels like her tell devils like me, casting upwards to heaven with hell in me fingers. So don't stay away too long, bonny lad. Steer that big black bumblebee hour here where we can see it. We are men who magic up ships. Our fists pull coal from the earth, and I've shit bigger than you. I'm going back to the Missus and Bairns now, son, and you going back to yours. But don't stay away, and don't be a stranger. We'll keep the home fires burning, and I've got one here for you.